Welcome back. All right, so preseason. What's important about preseason is looking at individual players. And coming out of this game, I think you can find positives if you're a Leafs fan. You can find positives if you're a Sens fan as well. So they did have, and I mentioned this in the other preview as well, I'll mention it here. They had the video for Johnny and Matthew Gaudreau, the moment of silence as well as I had seen in Boston earlier today. So it seems like all 32 teams are doing their best to honor the memory of the Gaudreau brothers. We had Sogard versus Wall in this game, and I would say this shows how important Olmark could be for the Ottawa Senators this year. There's an early power play for the Sens. They struggle to set up early in it. There's a near miss for Pinto. It's cleared out. That power play's killed off, and then the Sens they press after it's done. They had two shots on that first power play. Then there's a toe save on a rush chance for Pacioretty. The shots are 4-1 for Ottawa at 4.5 minutes. Nyes has a net feed that's blocked. The Sens are breaking up plays at their net, and then Unique. He wires one from the slot. McEwen and Kuhlman with the assists at 6:10. So Unique they picked up from Utah in an exchange of players that needed a change of scenery. Unique looked good today. And Kuhlman with an assist. He's on a PTO. He's trying to catch on. I don't know that this game does enough to get Kuhlman a contract, although there's a player that may have done enough today that if they're not putting pen to paper, I'd be kind of surprised. The Leafs look to respond. The Sens are defending and blocking well. The Leafs get stuck at one shot for a while in that period. Marner can't bury one in close as the Leafs press. Domi, I thought looked pretty good too. Just some bad breaks out there. The Sens at this point are protecting the net pretty well. Sens press with 7.5 minutes left. We then get 2 minutes of 4-on-4. It then becomes a minute and 25 seconds of a power play for the Sens. So it's a 4-on-3, and then the other 35 seconds will be 5-on-4. Amadio's denied on a rebound. They end up killing that off. There's two shots in total for Ottawa during that power play. McEwen has a rush chance that's held. The Leafs still had one shot on net with 3.5 minutes left. The Ottawa Senators had 11 at that point. I think the shots were 14-2 at the end of the first period. 2 minutes and 20 seconds left. The Sens get their third power play, and it was the second high stick of the period by Toronto. Keep your sticks down. Then there's a stick save on Batherson. There's some cheers as Wall holds on there. The Leafs do kill that off, but the shots were 14-1. And as I said, I think there was an adjustment where a second shot was awarded to the Leafs after the first period, but it doesn't matter. It's preseason. Either way, Ottawa outplays them, but they're only ahead by one, right? So second period, teams trade early rushes. OEL has a chance that's held. There's some pushing. Looking at Ekman Larsson's game in this one, it looks like he's either been instructed to pinch often on rush chances or he was just playing that way today. It's one thing to keep an eye on. You've got a new coach, there's new systems. Toronto's game could look very different this year than last year. And then you add in the guys like Tanev and Ekman Larsson have been added on the blue line. Yeah, the Leafs could look quite different, even though we acknowledge that the core players have stayed the same. Shabbat misses one high from the right circle. Amadio's getting some chances. The Leafs are blocking early. And again, Amadio a pickup by the Ottawa Senators in the offseason. Thought he looked pretty good today. The Leafs press at 4 minutes. Both teams are picking off net feeds at this point. Then we had a fight between Sabrango and Reeves. And that was after Sabrango had boarded Reeves. So Reeves gets up looking for who did it. And, I mean, hats off to the kid. He did drop the gloves with Ryan Reeves. He was definitely overmatched in that. It stays 5-on-5. I guess they decided that it was a clean hit by Sabrango on Reeves. But at any rate, at 7:26, Toronto gets on the board. Nyes buries a cross ice pass during a zone entry by Toronto. Marner and Tanev with the assists. Chris Tanev, as we all expected, getting multiple points today. Because sure, why not? So that was only the third shot of the second period for the Leafs, and it's in the net. Amadio gets robbed, and then Reinhart. There's a D in that last name. He is not related to Sam Reinhart. But yeah, Cole Reinhart scores from Amadio and Unique at 9:14. And that fourth line looks pretty darn good for the Sens, because this projects to be their possible fourth line. Looked pretty good today. So Reinhart puts in a rebound over Woll. Woll had denied Amadio, and then it goes in the net. The Leafs then get a power play. Matthews can't bury one in close. The Sens clear. They prevent a setup from there. Power play's killed off. Then there's a near miss for Nyes. The puck goes the other way. And then on a turnover, Gaudette. On a pass from behind the net from, you guessed it, Unique. Reinhardt with the other assist at 11:47. It's suddenly 3-1 for Ottawa. What's interesting with this game is if you looked at the lineups, you would have expected Toronto to destroy Ottawa. So why doesn't this happen? It's the preseason. The guys who usually play the hardest in the preseason are going to be the guys who might have a job, might not, which explains why Unique, Reinhardt, Gaudette, these guys had a really good game. It's not like if Matthews has a bad game, they're going to go, hey, maybe this Austin guy, we should send him to the minors. So there's very often times where people will make too much out of a bad preseason. They'll make too much out of a good preseason. Reality is, a veteran player having a bad preseason, it really isn't a big deal. They can get up for those regular season games. They know that the preseason games, really the key thing is don't get hurt. So Wall comes out, Murray goes in. I think the plan was to put Murray in the net anyways halfway through the game. But the fact that Wall's last play is a goal by Gaudette, he probably wasn't all that happy about that situation. OEL to Matthews, that gets picked off. The Sens press with 4.5 minutes left. Unique, blocking shots. He really wants a job on the team. He's getting goals, assists. He's doing shot blocking today too. Might have been the best game I've seen Unique play, and I'm remembering his games in Arizona as well. And again, yes, it is preseason. He's got to work hard to get that job. The Leafs are not getting much in close, and late in the period, it turned into a preseason game. There are times during the preseason where I'm like, I don't know if I can take notes. There's not much going on. This is kind of getting kind of tough to watch. But it's 3-1 for Ottawa after 2, and then everything goes bonkers in the third. Domi to Yarncroke, there's a near miss, and then at 2:38, Pacioretty tips in a point shot. Riley took that point shot. Tanev with the other assist, because of course Tanev's going to get multiple points, as I said. And for Pacioretty, I think he should be a member of the Toronto Maple Leafs this year. I know it's one game, but if Pacioretty, if the puck's starting to go in the net, he played, I thought, pretty well for Washington last year. He just had no finish. If his finish is back, I think it's a good pickup for Toronto here. Leafs get a power play. They're looking to tie it, and they do. On a tic-tac-toe play, Matthews with the power play marker at 3 minutes and 20 seconds. Tavares and Nylander with the assists, so that makes it 3-3. Nyes then can't bury one in close as the Leafs are now looking for the lead. They have the momentum. And then Pacioretty scores from Tanev at 5:28. Pacioretty didn't even know it went in. He's kind of looking skyward like, why would I take that shot? But it goes 5-hole. It was not a good goal. Sogard, his night seemed to have turned at that point, but Ottawa gets it back. At 5:46, it's Sebrango, who was an assist away from a Gordie Howe hat trick today. Unique and Reinhardt. So Unique and Reinhardt on the board again. And it was post and in for Sebrango. So yeah, I talked about Sebrango a couple years ago and how I thought he was a pretty good defenseman, and maybe he'll push for a job in Ottawa. Maybe he'll be a call up once the season gets rolling. Either way, I thought he played all right. Then we had a fight between Gaudette and Grabenkin. Grabenkin coming over from the KHL, he did the whole hands up thing towards the crowd and really riled them up. Even did a little fist bump through the glass with a fan. While he was in the penalty box. This is the kind of stuff that's going to endear him to Leafs fans. And though I don't think he necessarily makes the Leafs, again, it is all about impressing management. So they say, you know what, this guy can come up. He should be an early call-up for us. I think Grabenkin made that argument today. Matthews fires one wide on a rush. The Leafs press at 8 minutes. The shots are 9-2 for Toronto, 8.5 minutes in. But at 9:18, Reinhardt roofs one from the doorstep. That was after a turnover. Halliday gets the puck to Reinhardt, who puts it in the net. And suddenly, it is a 5-4 lead for Ottawa. This game absolutely bonkers, as I said. Gregor then has a rush chance that's held by Murray. Because remember, Noah Gregor has gone from being a Leaf to being a Sen. The Leafs draw a power play. There's a near miss for Nylander, which was the best chance for Toronto on that power play. Unique then leads a rush after it ends because the guy really wants a job. Nylander was then on the wing with Tavares and Pacioretty. So this is where things are going to get interesting. You've got Craig Berube behind the bench. We've talked about how Nylander probably going to get a look down the middle, but during games, are we going to see him get moved to the wing regularly? Will he be able to keep that spot down the middle through, say, 85-90% of action, or will Berube at some point say, you know what, Nylander's better as a winger? It's going to be interesting. I know Nylander wants that chance at center. I know they've talked about it. But as the preseason rolls along, it's one of those storylines to follow. Does Nylander get all those chances at center and just move to the wing when they need a goal late, which was the chance, which was the case here. That's the word I was looking for. So things get pushed in a hole by Sogard, and then in 1939, with the goaltender pulled, the goaltender got pulled with 1:55 left. That's after a Leafs timeout with 1:41 left. Nylander buries that rebound. Tavares and Pacioretty with the assist in 1939 to tie up the game and set up an overtime. I had a feeling this game was going to overtime, just based on the fact that it was kind of a sloppy game, which made it really entertaining. But yeah, in the overtime, the Leafs control early. There's a near miss for Matthews. The Leafs get a change in before Ottawa's even touched the puck. So that's something to keep an eye on when you get into those 3-on-3 plays, because that means that team's really tired on the ice. Do they take advantage? No. Pacioretty gets denied on a rush. The Sens then take over on the play. There's a glove save on Amadio, and then Yakemchuk. So Yakemchuk at 2:35, an absolute beast mode goal. It just I can't. He went through everybody, and he puts the puck underneath the pad. I think it was underneath the pad of Matt Murray. It certainly looked like it was. And yeah, that was quite the goal for a defenseman who was drafted in the first round this past June, and is trying to make their choice difficult, trying to say to them, "Hey, look, I'm right here, and I'm not bad, and maybe I should get a look in the regular season." So at any rate, Yakemchuk likely gets himself into more games in the preseason. We'll see as things get tougher as the preseason rolls along how it goes. But again, Toronto had a lot of their regulars in the lineup, not all, absolutely not all. But I thought the Ottawa Senators held their own, considering most of their regulars, their star players, not in the lineup. They win this one 6-5 in overtime. Again, the result isn't really all that important. But what an entertaining game. This game was really, really fun. And preseason, that's really all you can ask for. And yeah, Kemchuk's making it so that, yeah, he looked pretty good in this one. We'll see. I did kind of catch a little bit of the post game on Sportsnet. I don't think a lot of analysis is necessary on this game, but Pacioretty's definitely made the argument that, yeah, maybe they need to get him a contract. And the Leafs are right up against the cap. The Leafs are always right up against the cap. And if they can sign Pacioretty for $1 million or less, it just means somebody is going to be going down to the Marlies, who maybe they had thought would make the team. But either way, depth is important. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below as always. Again, I think there's good things you can take out of this for both teams. So it's, again, something that's great about the preseason because the result doesn't really matter. You can probably take positives out of this for both teams. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe in the event you've not done so already. Thank you guys so much for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.